Hi, welcome to the Lac Qui Parle County Historical Museum. My name is Rachel Crowan. I am the Outreach Education Coordinator. Please come on in. Let me be your tour guide. Welcome to the Ethel Mellum edition of the Lac Qui Parle County Museum. This has got to be one of the largest selections of dolls anywhere. Let's take a peek. Ethel Larson was born in Lyons, Nebraska on November 13th, 1893 to Mr. and Mrs. C.W. Larson, Swedish immigrants. The 1890s were exciting times in Nebraska, which had only been a state 26 years before Ethel was born. It was a time of westward movement with a constant influx of settlers in covered wagons looking for a place to settle. Ethel learned unusual skills from her mother and grandmother, who were both adept with their hands. She learned to sew, tat, knit, crochet, and restore worn-out things that some people would have thrown out. Ethel's cleverness and meticulous attention to detail characterized all the items she made. As a young girl, she had asked her mother for a boudoir doll, one that sits on a bed or sofa and is not played with. After her mother showed Ethel how to dress dolls, this captivated her interest. She began making clothes for dolls, and this grew to be a hobby when she joined a doll club in Lyons, Nebraska. It was not long before she had dressed dozens of dolls and displayed them in a glass china cabinet. Ethel moved with her family to Omaha, where she attended the McDuffie School of Business. She worked as a dictaphone operator after graduating from college. World War I was taking place at this time, so Ethel began volunteering with the Red Cross. Her brother became a casualty during this time in the military, at this point, making an impact on Ethel. She became dedicated to the Red Cross and became active in the American Legion. When the National American Legion Convention was held in Omaha in 1925, Ethel was part of the girls' drill team. They met a group of veterans after the parade, which is how Ethel met her future husband, John Mellum, of Dawson, Minnesota. They began to correspond with one another and met up again in 1926 while Ethel was attending the National American Legion Convention in Philadelphia. This resulted in an intense courtship, with their wedding taking place in Omaha in 1927. Ethel and John lived in Dawson, Minnesota after their marriage. Ethel worked with her husband and his brother Arnold at the Mellum store. They never had any children. After 25 years of marriage, John died from damaged lungs in 1954. Ethel married a farmer from the Dawson area, Arthur Mellum, in 1954. The couples had been friends for many years. After his death in 1961, Ethel worked at several locations in Dawson. With the loss of her second husband, Ethel became involved with community activities and shared her talents and hobbies. Ethel is well known for her doll collection. She began making dolls to commemorate events and famous people and called them personality dolls. The dolls were made from many types of materials, including bisque and china heads, wax and paper mache, and unglazed porcelain. Ethel sewed most of their clothes, as they are all fully dressed. Hairdos on the dolls were another of her specialties, using real hair, which she got from her friends or local beauty shops. Ethel did careful research to make the clothes authentic for those that were made to represent a specific person. Examples of some of the well-known personality dolls are Abraham Lincoln, Prince Charles, Queen Elizabeth, Stephen and Mary Riggs, Bob Hope, Bing Crosby, Mark Twain, and Babe Ruth. Ethel also collected pictures and stories to go along with these dolls. She even requested autographs if the personality was alive or received copies of them from autograph collectors. Her personality doll displays were in demand and promoted invitations to travel to distant places for interviews and exhibitions. Ethel was often asked to dress, repair, or restore many antique dolls for others. As a result, she became known as the Doll Doctor as well as the Doll Lady. The largest doll that Ethel made she called Girl in the Beaded Formal. It was a German bisque head with an unusually large head and shoulder area. Her costume is made from a dress that belonged to one of Ethel's friends in the color guard in the American Legion drill team in Nebraska in 1926. Throughout the years Ethel lived in Dawson, she was involved in many community activities. During the World War II years, she spent many hours working as chairman for the Red Cross in Dawson, folding gauze dressings as 1,000 of those had to be shipped each week. She was the president of the local Red Cross, where other volunteers would meet 4 times a week in the Carnegie Library basement. They would also knit sweaters, bed jackets, socks, and other clothing articles. Ethel was a leader in other organizations, too. She was an active member of the Eastern Star, Dawson Study Club, Riverside Lutheran Ladies' Aid, American Legion Auxiliary, Senior Citizens of Dawson, and a board member for the Lac Qui Parle Historical Society. She served as a Girl Scout leader, Sunday school teacher, and was an active member of Grace Lutheran Church. Ethel's friendly personality and widespread hobby interests resulted in the honor of being Lac Qui Parle County's Outstanding Citizen in 1969. In October of 1969, she received a citation from Governor Harold Levander as Lac Qui Parle County's Outstanding Citizen, at which he commented that her contributions not only benefited her community and county, but also the state of Minnesota. Ethel was chosen to be the County Centennial Queen in 1972. She memorialized that occasion with her elaborate personality doll, a replica of herself with the bouquet of roses presented to her. As Ethel's health declined, she entered the Johnson Memorial Home in 1980. She spent the last 4 years of her life at the home and was very appreciative of all visitors. She spent some of this time organizing her estate, establishing a $50,000 scholarship fund, leaving money to her church, and organizing sales of many of her possessions. Ethel donated many trucks, 13 truckloads of her favorite possessions, including over 300 of her favorite dolls, to the Lac Qui Parle Museum in Madison, Minnesota. Ethel gave the museum cabinets from her home and financed the building of more cabinets for the Ethel Mellum Doll Room and supervised the arrangement of the dolls. Ethel also financed the building of a large additional room off the library. This included a kitchenette and a large storage basement. This area was named the Ethel Mellum Addition. Upon completion of these rooms, Ethel was invited to cut the ribbon leading to the Ethel Mellum Memorial Rooms on May 20th, 1982. At the age of 90, she was still using her talents to make pillows to be sold at the Johnson Memorial Home Bazaar. Ethel died on August 11th, 1984, at the age of 90. Throughout her lifetime, Ethel directed her energy to so many social and community activities that often people thought, how could one person accomplish so much in one lifetime? Ethel's motto for her life was, anytime I can help, I'll be ever so glad to do so.
If you are interested in more Lac Qui Parle County history, check out the Lac Qui Parle County Museum, located in Madison, Minnesota.